Howdy, I'm Derek, and in 2026, I'm kicking off a weekly series called Lambda of the Week. Each Friday in 2026, I'll share a helpful custom Lambda function in Excel. You can follow along right here and download a free workbook containing the week's Lambda function with a link in the comments below, just like today. And if you want to get all of them with 70 plus custom Lambda functions and growing in one place, check out the most popular template on my website with a link in the comments below. Here's what that template looks like. One template with 70 plus custom functions and growing with examples how each of them works so that you can reuse them and learn from them. If you're not familiar with what Lambda is and why you should use it, Lambda is a newish special function in Excel that allows you to build custom reusable functions that you can use in your workbooks without VBA code. Here are 3 reasons why this is awesome. 1, you can simplify useful functions that would otherwise be long and complex. 2, you can reuse them over and over again throughout all of your workbooks. If you've ever written a formula and you thought to yourself, wow, that was a really good one, I want to use that again, that's what Lambda is all about. And 3, you can centrally manage them. Change the formula in one place and it updates all throughout your workbook. Let's look at an example here. The file that we're seeing here is a meeting attendance report exported from Microsoft Teams. I sometimes host webinars and use this to see who meets those CPE requirements. Column D here contains the duration in this not so helpful text string. Okay, so what we want to do is compare that or convert that to minutes. So what we're going to do is use a function that looks just like this. Okay, so here's the function down here. Not something that you'd probably ever want to type out every single time, is it? Thankfully, Lambda gives us a way to simplify this. Okay, now how you would do this, okay, is come up here to your named manager in the formulas tab. Notice there's nothing here yet. By the way, this is the same place you would manage named ranges, also a very useful function in Excel. So we're going to create a new one and we're going to copy this just over here. I like to use L underscore at the very beginning of all the lambdas so I know which ones are custom. I highly recommend putting in a comment, even though that is optional, that way you know what's going on. And then of course, notice here's our entire definition. Notice that it starts with lambda right there. So we're going to put that in place here. Okay, it's now available in our workbook. All right, so what's cool is once you add one of those, it automatically starts showing up with all the other functions in Excel. So you don't have to type the whole thing out, you just type a little bit of it. So let's put a few of these in here. I specifically built this one so that it will spill automatically. Notice we only typed it one formula and it spills. One of the best things about dynamic array functions. And it works exactly as you'd expect. Now, one of the cool things about Lambda functions is you are able to build your own parameters. So the time text here is in that reference column. That's the only one in this one, but you can have as many as you want. Okay, and that's extremely helpful because it lets you simplify and reuse things. Okay, now all we have to do is update the reference right here and it will spill for all of them. And again, makes it very easy to use that for one or more cells. Now, you might be thinking, how do I reuse this in other workbooks? Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. Now, I do highly recommend having a library of these, and I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. But let's go to another workbook that has none of them in it. Okay, so notice nothing in this one now. We're just going to copy and paste right here. The only thing that we're going to want to do is change that reference because it doesn't have anything here. Notice it's got the ref error. So we're going to change that to A2. And notice that it works. It added it automatically into our workbook because we just copied and pasted. So that's one way to do it. But chances are you're going to have these all over the place. You're going to be making them, once you know how this works, into different workbooks, and it might be tricky to find those. So I highly recommend having a centralized library you can easily pull from. Now I want to help you understand how I use 2 helpful custom tools that are going to make it easy to reuse your Lambda functions. Okay, so one of the things is a search box. Okay, notice I am searching for the words random and string. Okay, there's one of the lambdas that I've used a few times before. So a couple things here. One, you can have it automatically add new lambdas without even trying. If you're just adding one to a workbook and you use whatever the prefix is here, it will automatically add them to a centralized library. Okay. The other thing is notice that there's a group button. So you can add all the lambdas in the same group. So in the case of this one, random strings, okay, it's in the text group, right? So there's this long formula, there's the comments and everything. If we press enter for this, Okay, notice what it did. It didn't just add the random one here, it added all of these that were in that same group at the same time. So saves a lot of time for me to do that, super helpful, and it's pretty common. Whenever I add one, I generally want to use one of the other ones as well because they tend to work with each other. So that's the first custom tool, the search box. And as you saw there, really easy to use, but what if you want to see the entire library, make edits, or share with your colleagues? That's what this next tool is all about. Okay, so we're going to use that same search box. Notice I'm typing in bulk lambda. What this is going to do is add a sheet to the file with the entire library that you have, which, by the way, looks a lot like the library I shared earlier. Okay, so you can make edits, make additions to it, delete some things, maybe change the groups, whatever you want to do. The other thing is you can also add here to your workbook by clicking add for one or more of these. Run it again and it will process any changes that you have. I highly recommend having a library like this because once you start using these custom functions, it's a little bit addicting, right? So you can take this sheet, you can share it with your colleagues or use it to copy and paste between your different laptops that you're using. Both of these two custom tools are part of the hundreds of tools available in the XLEV8 Excel add-in. To get a copy of it or try it out, go to www.xlevate.co in the file download section or use the link in the comments below. And again, to get a copy of the Lambda library template, very much like what you're seeing right here, check out that link as well below. And then of course, for the one that we were using today over here, right, that text time one, that one's also available in the comments as well. If you like this video, please give it a like, comment on what you like, share with a friend, and of course, click subscribe so you can keep up with some awesome Excel tips and tricks, including this weekly Lambda of the Week series. Thanks for watching and have an excellent rest of your day.